everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we have another Epstein update. I'm going to try to make this one relatively short, but there are a few different stories that broke today that at least deserve some attention, one of which being the gentleman in the hooded sweatshirt with the sunglasses and the hat over his head with a bag in his hand. Apparently, the Daily Mail is reporting that this is Richard Kahn, and he is a longtime associate of Mr. Epstein. And they're saying that he was leaving the New York estate after his suicide, just a day after the suicide. And of course, the headline reads, "After multimillionaire had admitted to having damaging dirt on high-powered house guests." So the speculation would be, and let me say this, total speculation. I'm glad this is out there. We need to see it, right? But obviously they're going to run that sensationalistic headline. Lord knows what he took out of there. This is after, long after, a police raid, I believe, right, on the New York apartment. I think they went in there long before Epstein killed himself. And, kudos to the Daily Mail for doing this story. Like I said, this guy is an upper echelon dude. He's been around Epstein for a very long time. Him going in there and taking a bag out is interesting, okay? Especially the day after Epstein dies. So, pretty extensive report, actually, on Kahn and who he is, but we're not going to focus on that. Instead, we are going to focus on this Daily Beast piece with, I'm probably going to butcher his name, Frederic Fekkai. Now, why is this guy important? Well, we know he rode with Epstein at least 2 times on his jet. Once, admittedly, with his family, with his 5-year-old son and his girlfriend at the time. But Ghislaine Maxwell is on those trips, and I believe Jean-Luc Brunel, who we're going to get to in this as well, Jean-Luc Brunel also on one of those trips. And if you've been watching my coverage of Epstein, we went through that 60 Minutes piece from 31 years ago. Let me repeat that, 31 years ago, where Jean-Luc Brunel and Claude Hadid, both big-time associates of Epstein, especially Brunel. Okay, Brunel, top dog, at least in the suits we've seen. Claude Hadid may have had a less extravagant relationship with him, but the reason that this guy's important is because Epstein had 14 numbers for him, no matter what he wants to say his relationship with Epstein was before the convictions and then after the convictions, but we'll get to all this. Peaceful Warrior, thank you so much for the super chat. So here you have this guy who, again, is a hairstylist. Now, he has a relationship with Epstein. There haven't been any outward allegations that he's taken part in anything shady yet. But when you look at this, you also find that Epstein, after his conviction, was bringing young girls into his salons, which were high-end salons. This guy was, the hairstylist to the stars, Demi Moore, even Hillary Clinton. He would charge upwards of $750 a haircut. Now, admittedly, he wasn't doing these girls' haircuts, but these were mega salons. So in front of, I believe they said, upwards of 900, or was it 9,000 people? Let's look it up. It was kind of a long article. I don't want to misspeak it. Let's see. That's 39 million. Let's try people. Or let's go up higher. I thought it was 900. Man. Well, again, he was flaunting it, basically. But these women, they didn't know whether they were of age. They would come in of all makeup. Either Epstein or one of his women associates would direct what they would have. So, everybody, the point is everybody knew this was out in the open. Everybody knew. And he was going to this after the fact. Now, here's where it gets, it's a 9,000 square foot hair emporium in view of hundreds of guests. Didn't want to misspeak there, finally. And yeah, by the way, these girls would sit on his lap, stroke his hair, inappropriate behavior, but everybody around him knew. And this is after the convictions. And they said that he walked around and did whatever he wanted. Now, Fakai said that he had nothing to do with the company while Epstein was doing this after the fact. And in a way, he may be right. Leslie Wexner actually is the one that invested in this company for quite some time. It got sold several times, but Wexner's, what was it, the Bed Bath & Beyond company, one of his subdivisions, basically, I think it was the L Corp. It's in here, man. Sorry, guys. Not my sharpest day. But there's just so much information. The moral of the story is that Wexner ends up owning it. It ends up losing $390+ million. And now this same guy, Fakai, re-owns it. He bought it for an undisclosed sum. Basically, I mean, his employees sued these people. People were losing their jobs. It's a pretty crazy situation. But you have to ask yourself, why was he so close to Epstein? Why were there 14 numbers? And in this world where these girls are being, lent out to Epstein associates, and he's taking them all to these salons even after the fact, but definitely before the fact, and he's behaving in this manner, you have to ask yourself that question. Now, Jean-Luc Brunel, we're going to get there. The last we knew, I believe it was the Post that was reporting that Jean-Luc Brunel was somewhere in South America. Now the lawyers are saying he's not on the lam, despite the fact, remember, that finally one of his offices actually got raided. Where is it? Yes, Karen Models on September 17th was searched, as well as Epstein's luxury Paris home. Mr. Brunel is keeping his statements for the authorities, but he says that he is not on the lam. He's not on the run, and firmly contests the allegations circulated by the press. By the press. Again, if you haven't seen it yet, please, we're gonna go into my little video section over here. If you haven't seen it yet, you need to watch. Not Sultan Epstein, but Epstein model scam exposed 30 years ago. Clearly, it's not just the press that is accusing Jean-Luc Brunel of a very, very disturbing action. Now, getting back to Leslie Wexner, Maria Farmer is now trying to hold Wexner accountable. I don't know whether that's via lawsuit or not, but she was the one that was assaulted in Wexner's home by Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein at the same time while she was working for Epstein as a door girl, and got in through the art world. And her story was important because she said at the New York mansion that Alan Dershowitz would frequent that establishment in the late 90s and go upstairs where young models were, underage models were. She was kind of coming in to, back up what Virginia Giuffre Roberts had said. And there is a lot of back and forth on that. We report on both sides. Now, remember, Wexner's far from just like this mogul who's in the fashion industry. That's part of it, Victoria's Secret, etc. But he's also very much in that mega group policymaker thing with his Wexner organization. Okay, the Wexner Foundation, actually, the Frank Luntz report talks a lot about the post-Saddam era and the war on terror and how they can push for more military action in aid of Israel. It's a really interesting piece. We've also covered that. So I thought that this was interesting. Maria Farmer back in the news, had to cover that. Now, Prince Andrew is now trying to make the absurd claim, not only that we were breaking up in 2010, all those pictures of me in his mansion and the videos and the park stroll, that's where I was breaking it off. We weren't cutting arms deals. I mean, he doesn't talk about any cutting arms deals. We weren't doing any of that. We weren't taking part in any inappropriate behavior, and he was a trophy friend. Vanity Fair's putting this one out, and of course, this is spin that's being put out by the royal family that has to be reported on by their sources, Vanity Fair and that upper echelons of society. Give me a break. His trophy friend. And I would be remiss not to mention that John Oliver recently joked that the only way Trump's problems could get worse is if he confesses to Jeffrey Epstein's murder, further showing how the media is desperate to draw more of a relationship with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. However, Trump and his administration, his Justice Department, sure didn't stop whatever happened in that cell from happening, didn't they? And that's a big problem. That's something we've talked about for some time. So, folks, that is the update. If you missed it live, you can always go back and watch it. If you're new to the channel, now's the time to thumbs this up, share it, join the Burmers Brigade. We need those subscribers. Let's go, baby. On the way to 40K, on the way to 50K, on the way to 100K. I am trying to be about right and wrong. This transcends this issue and many others. Transcend that false paradigm that tries to control us. So, if you'd like to go check out my documentary films, they are all free on this channel. In the documentaries playlist, can't miss it. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. Remember to thumbs this up, share it with others, join the Burmers Brigade right now, and if you can, $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. It's how I'm doing it. It's the GoFundMe. There is no Patreon, no Subscribe-Star, no secret sources, no courses, nothing else out there that's keeping me going except for you guys, and I love you for it. Mixed Martial Mindset coming up in about 30 minutes with John Fitch, 1-hour program. You want questions? You got them. You can ask them. We're going to be doing questions, MMA, and a whole slew of subjects, including South Park being banned from China and the latest domestic terror threats you're not hearing about. I'll talk to you later. I love you guys. See you on the flip.